Hey guys, it's Cade up here in the tower for another staff interview, except this time it's not Coburg staff, it's Bristol staff. I'm here with Trey Hatcher. Trey, could you tell us your title, kind of what you do here, and your relationship with Coburg and kind of how it's been working with them all through the years?
Yeah, so I started here in May of 2014 as an intern, went to the University of Tennessee. Shortly after graduating, got the job as a Dragway coordinator, kind of just managed events and had other great people around me just to learn the industry, mostly on the business side of things, so contracts or working the day-to-day operations, getting things ready, not really track prep. I do some staffing, payroll, that kind of stuff, but not out there with the guys actually doing the work unless I have to. At the end of the day, we all got to do a little bit of everything. Right. And I've just grown from there. So I've been in my current role for going on 10 years. It's newest title is Senior Manager of Event Operation. That's for Speedway and Dragway. And I've just got accounts like Kohlberg or Peter Biondo with the Flings or round track accounts that mostly motorsports based that rent our facility, and we get to partner with them and put on great events.
That sounds good. It sounds like a lot of work. The Fling is no small event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a smaller event, but it's still not a small event.
Yeah,
you know,
hours wise, this one's probably one of the biggest of the years when you look at 4 straight days of running till nearly curfew every night. And with the car counts, especially this year, like most years are, the July event's one of our biggest of the year, and it leads right into our junior race. So we've got a 3-week stretch in July that it's a gauntlet. And
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean, we were on track like 14 out of 18 days, and I know that other tracks test and stuff like that. Sure. But I mean, when you've got the minimum of that, we're going to have 400 participants on property. So when we're busy, we're one of the busiest tracks in the country. We're not always busy. It takes a lot to get in here. It takes people like Jared and Steve and that trust in them to be able to build these kinds of events. We're always excited to have partners like that. But when you have a special partner like Kohlberg, you just want to have them back as many times as possible. I remember when the conversation started on the second event, whatever that was, 6-7 years ago now, we were so excited. Yeah, we were so excited just because that partnership was so good, and you have that trust in them, and they just always deliver. And we're able to work with them so well. And
it seems when I go down there, it seems like between Jared and Steve and everybody, it seems like Kohlberg and Bristol staff mesh really well. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody has a personal relationship with each other. You know, I mean, I'm friends with you on Facebook. Yeah. Like it's not just a show up here like, you know, I see what you do when we're not here. I'm sure Jared keeps up with you.
Our promoters are extended family. I mean, that's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, cards and gifts and texts and things like that. If we're in the same town, we're having dinner together if we can. It's part of that relationship when you're in this business, and when you find your people and they're good people, you cling to them. Absolutely. So, if we're working a fling together or doing whatever we do, it's always great to be around the Penningtons and the Stites.
That's absolutely true. So I got one more question for you. When it's kind of a build on, but when Kohlberg started, year 1 of the World Footbrake Challenge, were you here at that point? No, I know that was 19 years. So you weren't here till
19 years ago. So that would have been 2000. What was the first year? 2000. That would make it 2006, 2007, something like that.
So your first event
I was in middle school.
So wow.
Yeah.
So you weren't here till like the 9th event.
2014 would have been my first one. So whatever year that would be, 7th, 8th event, something like that. So this is my, I guess, 12th July event.
Okay. So what was your role at that first one that you were at?
An intern. So I literally was on, delivering food, water, supplies. That weekend we had a man that used to run the back of the lanes that fell out, and I ran the back of the lanes for 2.5 days, me and another guy. So really just the lowest you can be, just helping wherever you're
So
needed.
You have been around this event so long that you have worked in every facet that you can surrounding what you do with Bristol staff. So you've been down here, and now you're up here with it. So you know every aspect of what it takes to run this event.
We have a great internship program that we put the kids to work. I mean, I've managed it now for 10 years. I was one 12 years ago. And they essentially become event staff, and when we're low or we need people, they're learning stuff. Depends on where it is, mostly in the lanes, but ET Shack, they could sell fuel. They can do a little bit of everything, and if you're going to be in this business, you've got to see all facets of it. You can't just sit in the tower and think you learn it by seeing it. You've got to be out there in it. If they had an interest in track prep or that kind of stuff, we put them out there too. but you just grow from the bottom. And again, like when you have those relationships, and that's what's so special about Bristol Dragway is the partners we do have, and they're so long term. Like Kohlberg being 20 years next year, you just want to grow with them and learn more and see their side of the business. And we've had so many conversations over the years, and I've learned so much from Jared and Steve and all the other promoters we have. Just we're lucky to have these kinds of partnerships, and that's why not only is the track itself special, but the partners that help produce these events is what makes these events so special across the whole industry.
So how have you seen Kohlberg itself grow from the first time you were here to now? Oh,
man. I mean, when I remember it, it was 3 or 4, it was just the families, and there was none of the social media stuff. And I think, Motor Mania and Drag Racing Results did a little bit of something, but the media's blown up on that side. We've got efficient as a team on both sides of how we run these events. Not that they've always had big car counts, but when you're trying to run 585 cars in first round and things like that, the efficiencies that you see across their business, and then technology in general took off to help the business side of things. Like when I started here, we did gamblers races, buybacks, and tabs in the tower.
Wow.
So the door down there in the control room was open, and it was 10 deep for hours all day. So just those, really that was a COVID change, but the changes you make every year to just make it more efficient. And again, I had a staff of probably 20, and the Kohlberg side probably had 6, 7, or 8, and that included announcers. And now at this event, there's 60 of us to make this really get pulled off, because when you're running for 16 hours a day, 3, 4, 5 days in a row,
it takes
you can't have, and especially like the stuff like this, the audio, video, and the pay-per-view, live stream stuff. There's so many things that go into these events now that the racer might not see when they're just making their passes, but there's so much that goes into really the appeal and the sponsorship, and they just do such a great job of catering to the racer. But with that, it's the head count that just you have to have people to help,
and it's grown every single year.
It's only gonna grow, because that's how Jared and Steve are. It's how most promoters on this stage are. They just want to one up themselves. I mean, there's no competition in the Footbrake world. It's Kohlberg, and they're just stepping their game up on themselves every single year.
Well, none of that would be made possible without you guys.
We're blessed. No, it's a great partnership. It's one that I hope that we hold on to for another 20 years, and they're always welcome in our house, and we always want to work with them. Okay.
Well, Trey, we appreciate you talking to us. Appreciate everything you do for Kohlberg and the World Footbrake Challenge. So we'd like to thank Laris Motorsports Insurance for making this interview possible. They sponsored all the content Caufield Media has put out over the weekend. Guys, we got a lot more coming your way. We hope you can stay tuned. We got some great racing going out there on the track. Everybody be safe out in the pits. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend, and look forward for some more content pushed out your way.